sponsored by Lake Charles Memorial Health Systems. Covering the news for Southwest Louisiana, this is 7 News Nightcast.
Next, new details about the man suspected of trying to kill former President Donald Trump yesterday, and new questions about the security surrounding Mr. Trump. And this is what it looks like when a liquid natural gas pipeline explodes in a neighborhood. Tonight, new details about what caused the explosion. And could new Election Day rules impact how many people vote? One local lawmaker says he's concerned.
We didn't see much rain today, and I think our odds of rain the rest of the week pretty slim, but I'll have a look at the rest of your forecast coming up.
Good evening, I'm Cynthia Arsenault. Lots of questions tonight after a second plot to kill former President Donald Trump is thwarted by the Secret Service. Today, that would-be assassin was in a federal courtroom. Ryan Routh now faces multiple gun charges after the FBI says he was waiting to shoot Donald Trump on a golf course Sunday. KPLC's Washington News Bureau correspondent Brendan Cullerton has the latest on the fallout from the nation's capital.
Secret Service briefed former President Donald Trump on their latest intelligence as Congress looks for answers as to how a second potential assassin was able to get so close to Trump with a semi-automatic rifle. Shots fired on a Florida golf course. Sunday, Secret Service agents noticed a gun barrel sticking out through the bushes and shot at Ryan Routh. President Joe Biden says Donald Trump's security is not sufficient.
The service needs more help. And I think the Congress should respond to their needs if they, in fact, need more service.
The 58-year-old Routh is now charged with possession of a firearm with an obliterated serial number and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Routh was once charged with possessing a weapon of mass destruction in North Carolina back in 2002. He was arrested Sunday by the Martin County Sheriff's Office.
I was able to get to the scene shortly after the stop, and I saw him in the car. His facial affect was very bland. He was not emoting any emotions at all. He made no statements.
Following the previous assassination attempt on Trump's life July 13th, the former president was provided increased Secret Service protection. Secret Service says Routh did not fire any shots and was not able to achieve a line of sight on Trump.
Yesterday, what we show is that our agents and our protective methodologies, and there's a lot of tactical assets in place, things that have been put in place as a result of what happened 60 days ago, those elements are working, and that demonstrates the redundancies that we have.
Secret Service says they have had productive conversations with Congress about securing more resources. The congressional committee established to investigate the previous assassination attempt is requesting a security briefing. In Washington, I'm Brendan Cullerton.
A Sulphur police chase ends with one arrest. Police say it started just after noon today at the intersection of City Service Highway and Teal Road. It ended near the intersection of Prince and Princess Streets. So far, police have not released what led to the chase or details about the person arrested. New details about that huge pipeline explosion that forced evacuations in the Houston area. Officials say an SUV drove through a fence and struck an above-ground pipeline valve. Energy Transfer, the company that owns the pipeline, says they were able to shut down 2 valves to cut off the natural gas fueling the fire. But those valves are 20 miles apart, so lots of natural gas has to burn off before the fire goes out. Performer and producer Sean Diddy Combs has been arrested, according to the music mogul's attorney. Combs was taken into custody at a Manhattan hotel tonight and was immediately processed. Combs' attorney says he has been cooperating with the investigation. He and his team maintains his innocence, saying he has, quote, nothing to hide. The charges filed against him have not been released at this time. Well, Chief Meteorologist Wade Hampton joins us now with the first look at our weather.
And Cynthia, not too bad outside this evening. It was a little warm this afternoon, 91, but overall, as we take a live look outside on some of our various sky cams, skies are clear. Maybe a little difficult to tell, but I can see it on this very high definition TV that I'm standing in front of. There are actually a few stars visible, especially on the DeRidder sky cam. It has the best vantage point to be able to see that just because there's less light pollution nearby. But all in all, not bad. We're setting at an even 80 right now in downtown Jennings. Now, look at the radar. I don't see anything over our area at all. All of this is ground clutter. Moving to the other side of the screen, there were a couple of showers, and I can still see a few south of the Baton Rouge area, but those are moving on toward the east. Not a threat to us. Forecast overnight tonight, I am leaving rain out of the forecast, including for first thing tomorrow morning. Temperatures, we're down to 80 right now in Lake Charles. That's one of the warmest spots. The warmest goes to the coast in Cameron. So tomorrow morning on your commute to work and school, I think low 70s, partly cloudy skies. Not a bad start. And of course, for the kiddos heading out there, pretty much the same story as you would imagine. No problems. I'll let you know what to expect for the rest of the week and have a look at the 10-day forecast coming up in just a couple of minutes. Cynthia.
All right, thanks, Wade. Back in April, the town of Elton transitioned to new leadership after Keisha Lemoyne was recalled from office. But as we found out, the mayor's seat hasn't been the only change. Now a turnover at Town Hall has led to difficulties. KPLC's Haley Jefferson has the details.
Delinquent bills, new systems, and unpublished meeting minutes. Those are just a few of the issues happening over in Elton. The town has been without a clerk for 2 or 3 weeks, according to Interim Mayor Mike Parati, leaving much of the town's clerical duties to him. Council meeting minutes from both July and August have yet to be uploaded to the town's website or published in the Jennings Daily News. Mayor Parati says they're having a hard time getting the July minutes out of the system after the town clerk resigned. A council member took down the August minutes, and Parati says they should be available Tuesday. As for the delinquent bills, Mayor Parati says the town has caught up on the payments of about $75,000. Parati says the town is still financially sound. And as many Elton residents are aware of the water bill issues, Mayor Parati says they are under a new water system with new technology. He says they also have had printer issues that are being addressed. Parati stresses the need for staffing. He's reached out to the Louisiana Municipal Clerk Association for assistance finding new clerks.
And we reached out to the Louisiana Municipal Clerks Association, who says while they can spread the word about the open position, they cannot appoint or hire someone for the town of Elton. We are 50 days away from the presidential election. With it rapidly approaching, election officials want to help educate people on the importance of voting. So this week, September 16th through the 20th, is Voter Registration and Education Week. Low voter turnout has been an issue in the past, so they hope they can answer any questions people have prior to this monumental election.
All elections matter, big or small, but this one's a big one. And if you don't vote, you can't complain. So let your voice be heard. Every vote counts.
Throughout this week, registrars' offices in Southwest Louisiana will be visiting offices, schools, nursing homes, and other places, helping people get registered on time. We have more information on our website. And concern about voter integrity is an issue in this year's presidential election. And in Louisiana, there's been an effort to help ensure only eligible voters are allowed to cast ballots. Representative Wilfred Carter urges those who are trying to get out the vote to make sure they know the rules, since some have changed. For example, he says you cannot interfere with the line of voters at a polling place. And the legislature expanded what they call voter canvassing.
We don't need it. We never needed an election integrity in Louisiana, okay? But they use that as an excuse to limit voting rights, to do more canvassing. You know, now they got a supplemental canvass that was passed. And so if people don't vote in a certain period of time, then they'll send them a card. If they don't respond to their card, they put it on the inactive list.
Now is the time to make sure your election credentials are in order so you don't have problems on Election Day. Still to come on 7 News Nightcast, we'll take a look at how one Calcasieu Parish employee is helping native Spanish-speaking students and families. And the pain can be so intense it takes your breath away. Now a procedure is helping to ease the pain of broken or cracked ribs. Those stories as 7 News Nightcast continues.
7 News.
As part of Hispanic Heritage Month, KPLC's Carla Castillo spoke to an employee at Fairview Elementary who is sparking change for those whose primary language is Spanish.
September 15th to October 15th is Hispanic Heritage Month, a time to share the stories of every Latin American culture. And close to home is a special Fairview Elementary employee who is making an impact in those whose first language is Spanish.
I feel like I'm on here. Let me tell you, I see every kid here, like my son or my daughter, and I try to be very careful, very sweet, very mom or grandma. I don't think, I'm not too old. But I think they feel good when you try them this way.
Marinela Faria, a Venezuelan native, now works at Fairview Elementary. Whether it is helping translate documents or helping guide parents, she feels good making an impact.
I remember those times when we came here and we don't speak the language well, and we had to go to the medical appointment or something. The immigration is kind of hard. That made me feel great. I feel important because I can do something good for the community.
Faria shares the importance for everyone to learn the Spanish language.
We need to encourage the population to learn the Spanish like a second language, because every day we can see the community is growing up. That's, I think, encourage the people that learning the language.
Querer es poder, or in English, to want is to be able to. A powerful saying that means a lot to Faria and many in the Hispanic community. In Lake Charles, Carla Castillo, 7 News.
And with the start of Hispanic Heritage Month, KPLC would also like to announce the addition of Spanish on the KPLCTV.com website, where we will provide national, state, and local content in Spanish for viewers. For further details, you can visit our website. Well, let's head back over to Wade for another check of our forecast.
Well, Cynthia, overall this evening, temperatures have been slowly falling. We made it up, though, to 91 this afternoon. I'll let you know what to expect for tomorrow right after this.
There are trucks, and then there's these.
Now, your first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Wade Hampton.
Well, good evening to you on this Monday. Temperatures have fallen back into the 70s in most areas. 75 is the lowest temperature shared by several locations, including Fort Johnson. 80 degrees currently in Lake Charles. Even warmer, though, at the coastline in Cameron, checking in at 82. And that's partially because when you're surrounded by water that is still in the mid-80s, temperatures just can't drop very low. 84 is the current water temperature there in Cameron. And as I said, 75, the lowest temperature at Oakdale. We'll check on the current conditions here in Oakdale for you guys. Feels like it's also 75, so the dew point's at 70. The temperature is not going to drop much. Might get into the upper 60s by first thing tomorrow morning. Look at the radar across the state. Not seeing a whole lot. Few showers off to the east of our area. Those are not heading in our direction. There are more showers to the north. This is associated with an area of low pressure. You can clearly see the spin, especially earlier today. A lot of that shower activity has kind of waned and moved on. And then I'll move the radar over a bit because you can kind of see this behind me. This is what was classified potential tropical cyclone number 8, bringing a lot of rain to portions of the Carolinas. No longer considered a potential system because it has moved inland, but obviously not a threat to our area anyway, as I told you since yesterday. Radar locally, none of this is rain. All of that is ground clutter, and I do not expect to see any rain tonight, so we'll leave that out of our forecast. Otherwise, temperatures will fall back into the low 70s to start off. Our Tuesday morning should be a relatively comfortable start. We're supposed to get down to about 71 this time of year, so only a degree or two above normal. Now, the heat index will be warmer than that, probably mid 70s in most areas tomorrow morning, except at the coast, where again, it's already warmer, so you guys probably stay in the 80s, especially with respect to that heat index. By the afternoon tomorrow, even by lunchtime, near 90, if not above. And then in the heart of the afternoon, the heat index should top out in the mid 90s. And as far as rain, I'm still going to include a slight chance of a couple of showers. You can see as I put this into motion, some of those kind of moving from north to south. That's because of that area of low pressure to our north that I talked about in northern Louisiana. That should help to bring a few showers around the area. Plus, there's a weak frontal boundary, too. That adds to the lift in the atmosphere. Not a lot, not enough to increase rain chances more than the 20% range. But, yeah, a few showers possible. I do think by Wednesday, this front should dissipate. If it does not, may have to include rain chances again for Wednesday. For now, I'm leaving it out. And then definitely beyond that, rain is out of the forecast as upper-level high pressure builds in from the west starting Thursday. That effectively means no chance for rain Thursday through the upcoming weekend. So that's good news. If you have any outdoor plans coming up this weekend, should be just fine. Quick look at the tropics. The only active system, and this one's barely hanging on to, Tropical Depression Gordon way out here. It's going to turn northward and does not pose a threat to anyone. And I don't see any other threats for at least the next week ahead. That includes anything here. Tomorrow's forecast, upper 80s near 90, will top out in that range between 2 to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Your 10-day forecast for tomorrow, I did include that slight chance of an isolated shower or two. After that, I'm going to leave rain out of the forecast. In fact, we look mostly clear, if not completely sunny, Thursday through at least Saturday. And I know we have the big food and wine festival going on this weekend here in Lake Charles. That actually starts Thursday, but a big event Friday and Saturday at the event center. Should be fine for that.
Weather cooperating.
Definitely.
All right, we'll pin it on you if it doesn't.
For sure.
It'll be great,
Yeah.
though. Well, coming up next, the pain can be so intense it takes your breath away. Now a procedure is helping to ease the pain of broken or cracked ribs. That's next as 7 News Nightcast continues. You don't have to be an extreme athlete to have felt the extreme pain from a broken rib. Patients are sent home told to take it easy and let it heal. But as KPLC's Rhonda Kitchens reports, for some, the pain just doesn't go away.
Whether it happened during a car crash, a fall, or a ball game.
I've seen a patient that got a bear hug and broke some ribs.
A broken or fractured rib can make every breath you take painful.
If my fingers are the ribs, they sit on top of a bundle of nerves and vessels. So any disruption in the bone integrity will kind of impinge on the nerves right underneath each rib. So it's quite a painful injury.
When those ribs don't heal or when multiple ribs are broken, rib fixation or plating can help.
This rib is clearly fractured and displaced, as well as this one, this one, this one, this one, that one.
Surgeons screw titanium plates along the surface of the broken or cracked ribs.
If this is a rib and it's broken like this, you basically realign it and put a plate across it to reinforce it, so then it has a structural integrity back.
Rib plating can be done either directly under the skin with the plate laying on top of the ribs or from inside the chest cavity underneath the rib, depending on the severity of the injury.
Once you put the plates in, the plates stay in forever.
The procedure can be done immediately after the injury occurs or even years later.
Patients often report that their pain is nearly gone or entirely gone within 48 hours of the procedure. With today's health headlines, I'm Rhonda Kitchens.
What do you have in sports, Matthew?
Yeah, coming up after the break, I'll reveal who our Touchdown Live Game of the Week is for Week 3.
The cornerstone of Investigate TV.
The LSU Tigers gutted out a 36-33 win on Saturday at South Carolina, a game they trailed 17-0 in, marking their second largest comeback win on the road in program history. But it didn't come without some controversy. Many pointed out to some quote-unquote questionable calls that helped lead to LSU's win. One play included a late hit on Garrett Nussmeier that brought back a pick six, which would have put South Carolina ahead 40-29 with about 5 minutes to go. And it was his second pick six called back for the Gamecocks in the ballgame. Tigers head coach Brian Kelly was asked about the officiating during his Monday press conference earlier today.
They look like fouls to me, but I'm not here each and every week, to complain about calls or not complain about calls. Games are won by the players and lost by the players. If it gets down to that, call me out on it. You win and lose at the end of the day based upon coaches and players. And the other things I haven't seen in my years coaching, that officiating decides a game.
As the saying goes, don't apologize for winning, and Brian Kelly certainly is not. Instead, they're taking what they learned in week 2 and applying those positives into Saturday's test, which brings the UCLA Bruins into Death Valley.
Just hearing the positive talk on the sideline when we're down, Kyron Lacey's.
Many Tiger fans may remember the last time LSU and UCLA squared off, a 38-27 Bruin win at the Rose Bowl. LSU will be looking to change that this upcoming Saturday. And the Astros beginning a series out in San Diego tonight versus the Padres. This one got underway at 8:40, so no highlights for you tonight. But as it currently stands, Houston trails 2-0 in the 6th inning. And now it's time to reveal our Week 3 game of the week. Last week, we were at Iota, where the Bulldogs would beat the Kinder Yellow Jackets 30-20. But this week, we're heading to another home of the Bulldogs, the Jennings Bulldogs. They'll host the Welsh Greyhounds. The home team, Jennings Bulldogs, enter this week with a 1-1 record, getting their first win this past week by beating Eunice 34-0. Welsh also comes into this week with a 1-1 record following a win after they beat Oakdale 42-13 this past week. Tomorrow night at 10 o'clock, we'll preview the Bulldogs with head coach Brett Fuselaire, and on Wednesday night at 10 o'clock, we'll preview the Greyhounds with head coach Ronnie Corville. That one is our game of the week, but we have a lot of intriguing matchups this week as well, including Welsh Jennings. We have a total of 6 games between 2 local teams, Kinder at Rose Pine and Grand Lake at Oakdale on Thursday night, and Westlake at Washington Marion, Oberlin at DeQuincy, and Vinton at Hamilton Christian on Friday. For all of the matchups, visit our website at kplctv.com. All that, and don't forget, it'll be our first touchdown live in our brand new beautiful studio, so it'll be a TDL you won't want to miss on Friday night. Wait as you wake up. First alert forecast when we come back.
Life in Louisiana is...
Well, once again, a look at the radar. I'm not seeing anything. All of this is false echoes. None of this. It's all just ground clutter. I don't really expect any rain. Closest shower activity, you can kind of see behind me, there's been a little uptick kind of north of the Baton Rouge area. Those showers, though, if they're moving anywhere, they're going to move toward the southeast and not towards southwest Louisiana. Temperatures right now, we're setting in the 70s. Oakdale's already dropped to 73. 9 degrees warmer, though, at the coastline. 82 currently in Cameron. And the forecast in the morning, your wake-up forecast down about another 3 to 5 degrees for most of us. I think low to mid 70s, but you can add a few degrees to that for what it will feel like. Temperature trend tonight, as I said, low 70s, but look how quick we warm up tomorrow. Right back up into the upper 80s. The normal high this time of year has dropped out of the 90s. That's a sign that fall's getting closer, though this 10-day forecast is not going to spell that out just yet. In fact, we'll stay near 90 for an afternoon high, likely at least into the upcoming weekend. And even the longer range forecast doesn't really paint a lot of hope for any significantly cooler weather, but although not a bad forecast over the next couple of days. We'll keep the warm weather going, but hey, at least it means it's dry, so no weather complications for football.
We will take that, won't we?
That's first time all season for sure.
Sounds good. Well, thanks for joining us tonight. We're back on at 4:30 in the morning for 7 News Sunrise. Stay with us anytime on your 7 News mobile app. Have a good night.
Get your news, weather, and sports on the go. Download the KPLC mobile apps today. Sponsored by Christus Ochsner Health, Southwestern Louisiana.